Kia ora everybody, my name is Kodie, Heremia, and I have a special guest with me today, and I'm going to get her to introduce herself in our language. There you go.
Kia ora,
So she's just introducing a song that she's going to sing for everyone to kick us off. It's called Te Nara. Thank you, Iranui. So this is my beautiful daughter, Iranui. She's going to help me later on, but actually we're going to start off with a little bit of an incantation that she's going to teach us and take us through. So we just repeat after her, and with the words if you can, and with the actions as well. This is speaking on one of our gods, our Māori gods of New Zealand, Rongo Matane, and he is our god of peace, among other things, as well as other things. And this is about settling ourselves and preparing for whatever it is that we're going to do. So.
Whakatau te wairua.
Whakatau te wairua. Rongo mata ne mauri tau.
Kia u kia tau.
Kia u kia tau.
Rongo i te whiwhia.
Rongo i te whiwhia.
Tū i te whiwhia.
Tū i te whiwhia.
Kia mau te kupu.
Kia mau ki te kupu.
I tipu ai te kupu.
Hei tipu ai te kupu.
I tōna te matua.
Ki tōna iho matua. Rongo mata ne mauri tau.
U kia tau.
Kia u kia tau.
Whakatau te wairua.
Whakatau te wairua.
Mauri ora.
Mauri ora. Tihoni?
Tihoni. Tiku. Nagi. Tiku.
Cool. Thank you, Iranui. We're going to get her back towards the end, but thank you, Iranui, for helping me out at the beginning. We'll see you later. Okay. Kia ora, everybody. So, yes, my name is Kodie Heremia. I am a Māori living in Melbourne. I've been here for about 17 years. My background, my mob, as they would say over here, or my tribe or my sub-tribes, Ngāti Kahungunu. Ngāti Kahungunu ki Here Taunga. And my hapu, my sub-tribe is Ngāti Whakaiti. And I'm very proud to be sharing about culture. And I know a lot of my experience is about my Māori culture and connecting to my Māori culture, but the framework that I'm going to share that I've been developing over the past decade or so can relate to anyone and any culture, whether it's a work culture, whether it's finding your roots, whether it's creating your own family culture, creating your own culture within a sports group, or any time where there's a culture, you can use some things that I'll be teaching today for that purpose, because a lot of people lack a feeling of belonging and lack a feeling of passion and purpose. So by connecting to culture, it's just one small way of building that personal power within you and within a group. So yeah, I'm very excited about presenting today. The aim is that I can hopefully ignite and enliven something within you, to feel connection and to have a sense of purpose, or work towards that. So my experience here in Melbourne, I have been teaching Māori performing arts or kapa haka since what's going on 16 years now, since 2008. And I've seen hundreds, if not thousands, of my people walk through our doors, and some people come and some people go, but and actually some of them aren't even Māori, they're just people wanting to connect and wanting to learn about our culture. But one thing we get them to do is we say, what's your name? Where are you from? What's brought you here? Or why are you here? And then we say your favorite ice cream. And the key one, actually all of those are key, even the ice cream. The common thing that I always hear from all of these people in terms of why are you here is more often than not to build a connection and to connect with our culture, our Māori culture. So over the past decade, yeah, we've learned ways to do that, ways to connect to our culture, and also have a so that Māori performing arts group is called Tihani, Te Hononga o Ngā Iwi, which means the coming together of all people. Tihani for short, that's our nickname, and that's our school of learning performing arts, and we are building a school of language and building schools of other aspects of our culture as well, and then also providing opportunities for people to use those skill sets. So that's Tihani. I'm also part of an organisation called Te Ara Hononga, which is a Māori martial arts, a Māori fighting art school, where we use our weaponry style of maurako or taiaha, and build connections to our culture that way as well. So yes, that has been going since 2014. So we're going on 10 years this year. And the same thing, people walk through those doors, they say who they are, they say where they're from, they say why they're here, and more often than not, they'll say, I'm here to connect to my culture. So I've had a lot of experience in terms of helping people to connect with culture, and I've seen a lot of people going through different struggles of not feeling a sense of belonging, not feeling a sense of passion and purpose. So the framework that I've been working on over the last decade is called Kaha Rawa. Kaha Rawa. So we're gonna dive into that shortly. But before we talk about Kaha Rawa, I want to go into first. I want to talk a little bit about culture, because, like I said, like we've got our Māori culture, and whatever culture you have within your within your blood, and that runs through your veins. But then there's also the culture of family, the culture of workplaces, the culture of sport, the culture of social groups, the culture of communities, the culture of cities even, and countries. So one thing I've learned, culture can be simplified into 4 different categories. One is beliefs and values. When you have a culture, it includes shared beliefs, shared values, shared principles that particular group of people uphold, and often are passed down through generations, and they shape the way individuals within that culture perceive the world and make decisions and interact with one another. So beliefs and values. Another aspect of culture is norms and practices. Cultural norms represent the accepted behaviors within a society or a community. So these encompass everyday practices, customs, rituals, social etiquette. Norms guide how individuals within a culture interact, communicate, and conduct themselves in different situations. So we've got beliefs and values, we've got norms and practices, symbols and language. Symbols and language. So symbols and language are the integral parts of culture. serving as mediums for communication and expression. This includes verbal and non-verbal communication, as well as symbols, rituals, and like artifacts that holds significant meaning within a special cultural context. Language in particular is a powerful tool for transmitting cultural knowledge and heritage. And I know personally that it's a struggle for most cultures because language has been taken away from a lot of us, literally ripped away from us. And so language in particular is very, very powerful tool. And the fourth one, so we've got beliefs and values, norms and practices, symbols and language. And the fourth one, social institutions, like culture is embedded in various social institutions, like I was saying before, like families, education, religion, even government, social institutions. These institutions reflect and reinforce cultural values, shaping the structure of society and influencing the roles and expectations of individuals within it. So in a sense, culture, beliefs and values, norms and practices, symbols and language, social institutions. Culture is a dynamic and interconnected system that encompasses a wide range of elements, influencing how people think, how we behave, and also relate to one another within a specific community or society. So Kaha Rawa. Kaha Rawa is a framework that I've developed based on my experiences and based on things that I've learned within my culture and things I've learned outside of my culture as well, within Tihani, a Māori performing arts group, and also within Te Arohononga, a martial arts group that I'm a part of, and any really experiences, even as just being father of my beautiful daughter Ira Nui, who was 6, and my son, who was 12, Manaki, and doing experiences with my partner and everyone that I interact with. So let's start with Kaha Rawa. I'm just going to shake out this little intro and we'll dive into what is Kaha Rawa. Kaha Rawa is basically, kaha means strength, power. Some people may be familiar with the term kia kaha, which is to be strong. And rawa, in this context, is to exemplify that, So kaha, strength, rawa, to exemplify. So we got extreme strength, extreme power, the ultimate power. But when I look deeper into these two words, we've got in our culture a thing called kupu wete wete. Kupu wete wete is when we break down each individual, each word, and come up with deeper meaning. So from Kaha Rawa, break it down into ka, ha, ra, and wa. Ka, ha, ra, wa. And with ka, ha, ra, and wa, this is where I have built and continue to build the framework called the 4 pillars of power. Ka meaning fire. Ha meaning breath. Ra, in this context, meaning light. And wa meaning time. So we've got fire, breath, light, and time. And that's the base. That's the base for Kaha Rawa. And to simply break it down, ka, we talk about the fire that burns within us. This is where we feed our passion, we feed our purpose, we feed whatever it is that's within us, we feed that with fire so that we can go out and do whatever needs to be done and be fueled. And this is where the enlivening happens. This is where the being ignited happens within that fire. So I want to talk a little bit about how we can fuel that fire and how to identify it and how we can use it. So that's fire. That's our ka, fire, ha, breath. So this is a huge, ha is huge. And you can, like, everywhere you go around the world, they talk about the importance of breath. A lot of people do breath work these days, whether through meditation or various techniques. We have a practice or a greeting that some people may be familiar with the hongi, the pressing of noses and foreheads, breathing in together and releasing together, and some people doing it twice. Tihei mauriora, this is the importance of breath and the breath of life, and how the breath of life was gifted to us from the gods. And in this sense, ha speaks on our actions. So we breathe to move and we take action. So when I'm going to talk about ha and how we can take action. So we have a fire of purpose and passion. And from that fire, we breathe into movement and we breathe into taking action and doing what needs to be done. And it also means planning, and it also means being prepared, and it also means staying the course, whatever that may be, that aligns with our fire. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit. Ka, fire, ha, breath, ra, light. So light, ra actually is short for tamanui te ra. Tamanui te ra is our sun god, the sun, who is the source of all life, really. When the sun rises, the light reaches everywhere, and we are able to live, and we are able to sustain ourselves, growing food. But in this context, in terms of the light, I'm actually going to connect this light to our mindset, our minds, and our emotions, and our feelings, and our mental capacity as well, because wherever you shine light on is what you focus on, and that light comes from within here. So we've got fire, ka, we've got breath, ha, we've got ra, which is our mindset, and then we finish with wa, Kaha Rawa, wa meaning time. And time connects us to our environments and our associations, because what we give our time to, our time in a particular environment is what's going to influence us the most. If we focus our time on a particular thing, that will be our environment, that will be our association, and that will be our influence. So that's a quick breakdown of Kaha Rawa. But I'm going to make some more sense about this and how it can flow, and how you can better understand how these interconnect with each other, with ka, ha, ra, and wa, with fire, with breath, with light, and with time, with purpose and passion, with action, with mindset, and with influenced by our environment. Yes. So let's go back to ka, fire. Part of our Māori culture, we have a term called ahika. Ahika is literally the people that keep the fires burning at home. Back in the old days, we had villages, and we we lived as a village and lived together, and within those villages were fires that kept the village warm, that allowed us to cook, and they never went out. The fires were continually burning, and this needs to be the same for us. For those who are lacking a feeling of passion and belonging and purpose, typically, more often than not, it's because there's no fire within them. So how do we find that fire? How do we find that fire? I know for me, one of the biggest fires I have currently is my family. My daughter, who helped me to open this presentation up, she's part of that fire, and she keeps my fire burning, because if we're not doing for them, if we're not doing what we're doing for them, then there's no legacy, and there's nothing to pass on and for them to pass on. So my fire is my family, but it's also my culture, which I believe are one and the same. So what's your fire? What's your passion? What's your purpose? Well, and if you can't think of that, that's cool. What's a goal that you might have? What's a vision that you might have? Even if you feel like it's unattainable, like, what is that? And what I recommend is write it down. Write it down. It becomes real. Read it out. Read it every day, or maybe write it out. Think about it. Put it up into a ball, and safely put it somewhere where you can light it on fire and actually see the fire. See the fire, and just know that even though you may not be feeling that within you right now, that it's coming. When we think about fire, like literally what builds a fire and what puts a fire out. We might have bad wood and wet, our wood might be wet within us, and we need to dry it out a little bit, and we need to add the proper fuel. Maybe we're putting the wrong fuel on your fire. Maybe what you are doing maybe it's not fueling your fire, but maybe worse, maybe it's you're just putting wet fuel or bad fuel on your fire, and it's just not allowing itself to grow. So maybe that's something you can think about. Think about, how am I fueling my fire within me? How am I fueling my fire? And if you're not, then let's talk about what you can do to fuel that fire. Maybe you're putting a big, huge tree stump on top of this small little matchstick, and you're expecting this log to all of a sudden catch fire to this big branch, where you maybe start off with little kindling. Even less than that, let's start off with some paper, and then put some small kindling on top of that, and then slowly build on that. So maybe it's just taking too many steps first. Maybe it's just thinking too big too soon, which is cool. Let's have that vision, and then in the meantime, let's take one step. Let's get some paper, put it down. Let's get some little twigs and put it down there. Let's get some bigger wood, and then start to build from here. So how does that look like? What am I going to do in the next hour? What's a goal that I can do in the next hour? This is paper, or even less than that. Let's go 1 minute. What can I do in the next 1 minute to take one step forward? What can I do in the next 5 minutes, in the next 20 minutes, 30 minutes, next hour? And then that slowly builds into, oh yeah, I need to be more active. How about I just walk, or I stand up watching TV? Or I'm going to randomly do one walk around the block and see how long that takes. Took me 10 minutes, cool. Let's see if it can take me 8 minutes walking. See if it can take me 7 minutes. We're just putting paper, kindling onto our fire. And all of a sudden, you'll go for a walk around the block and go, that's easy. Maybe I'll do 2 blocks. maybe I'll do 3 blocks. Actually, now that I'm moving so often, I'm getting used to this, and I feel energized and want to do something extra. So all of a sudden, you're living an active life. I mean, I'm skipping ahead, but it starts with, let's do something in the next 5 minutes and build from there. And if it's not fitness, maybe it's learning something. Okay, there's a book that's on my shelf that can teach me something. I'm going to read 1 page, put it down. Next day, I'm going to read 2 pages. I'm going to read 3 pages. So long as you keep doing 1 step, keep adding paper, kindling, small wood, medium wood, large wood. So long as you do 1 thing at a time, that fire is going to light, and that fire is going to burn until like it's just blazing, and then you don't even have to think about your fire. And that's what I've been teaching, what we've been teaching in our Kapahaka group, our Māori performing arts group, and our martial arts group, our Modako group, is just show up every day, show up every train, show up every practice. You don't have to be the best, you don't have to be perfect, you don't have to know everything, just show up. And that's your base to your fire. A lot of our, actually all of our really good students, every single one of our really good students have been the ones that have just showed up. Just 1 thing, do it. 1 thing, do it. That showed up, and that's come together, that's compounded over time, and all of a sudden these really awesome performers and really awesome martial artists, to the point where a lot of our students can teach us things and take us through trainings. The leaders of the group, we can be taught by them. We can, and this is where reciprocal cycle can come from and happen. So fire is huge, but also, you know what, you don't even have to have a blazing fire every day. It doesn't need to be a roaring bonfire. You know, your fire's just blazing every day. It doesn't need to be that, you know, just enough. It just needs to be enough to keep you going. Just keep going. So long as you're not putting the fire out, so long as you're not damaging the fire, putting things on the fire that won't burn, putting things on the fire that will put it out, so long as you're not doing that and minimizing that. And what are they? There are distractions. Distractions. It's so easy to not do things these days because we're easily distracted. It's easy to be on our devices and to swipe and to scroll through hours and hours and hours of videos that don't light our fire and that put out our fire. So these distractions with maybe hanging out with the wrong people, maybe being influenced by the wrong people, but in terms of our fire, just doesn't have to be blazing, doesn't have to be roaring, just needs to be continuously burning. Yes, fire, ka. That's the ka in our Kaha Rawa. Ha, breath work, breathing, taking action. So I also train people in the gym, our students in the gym, and also, you know, fitness. We do fitness for our martial arts, and more often than not, we have to teach people how to breathe in different situations to get us through these challenges, any challenge really. There's a type of breath to give us strength. There's a type of breath to endure. There's a type of breath to calm ourselves. There's a type of breath to live. And all of these different types of breaths, we actually have to learn and understand. That's what connects us to learning and understanding how to move and how to take action. So now that we've got our fire going, it's like, cool, my fire's going, my fire, whether it's a small fire or a big blazing roaring fire, we have to understand, we have to learn how to use that and put it into action. Use that fire and put it into action. It's really cool having a blazing fire, but if you don't do anything about it, then nothing's going to happen, and then that fire's going to go out. So using that fire through our breath and taking action. We have a Māori god called Tāwhiri. Tāwhiri is our god of the wind and the weather, and he is the one that gifted us the breath that goes through our body. Tāwhiri. But we have to learn how to harness, how to connect with him, and go out and do, take action. This is big for me. It's easy for me to just chill out on this nice comfy couch and put something on and say, I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'll do that tomorrow. But take action. It's simple. It's hard. It's simple. Take action. But before we take action, like, we have to learn how to plan. We have to learn how to align what we're doing now to our fire and go, cool, what's the direction? What's the journey that's going to get me to my purpose, really? We know what we're aiming for, but how am I going to get there? How am I going to get there? And sometimes we can figure it out. Sometimes we need help. So there's plenty of experts out there. My thing is always to my students: where do you want to go? Where are you now? Cool. Let's break it down. Let's break it down into what does halfway look like? What does each quarter step look like? And then break it down to, cool, now we can do this today. We can do this tomorrow. We can do this the next day. Do this next week. So this is hard to do on your own, but at the very least, just trial and error. Try, fail, try again. Action. Take action. Take action. So we've got fire, we've got breath, and a key piece to this equation is our mindset. Mindsets. And it's basically what I was mentioning before at the beginning about shine your light on what you want to focus on. Actually, yes, whatever you shine your light on is what you'll focus on. And if you're shining your light on a thing that's not the plan, or that's not a part of your fire, your purpose, then it's a distraction. It's a distraction. That's as simple as I can put it. If you're not shining your light on what you're supposed to be doing, then it's a distraction. If you can't shine your light on the right thing, then it means you can't stick to your plan and take action. It means you can't fuel your fire. So this one's key. You may have a burning fire, but you might use all of that energy for something else. And then the fourth one again with time. Influence is key as well. Surrounding yourselves with the right people and being in the right environment is key. Like, maybe your environment is to go for a walk in the bush and connect with the environment. Maybe it's to be near the ocean. Maybe it's to be near a river. But some of us don't always have the luxury of that. So whatever your environment is, build it. Whatever you like, put a plant in the corner that feeds you. Put a picture on the wall that inspires you. Build that environment. Keep your environment clean and tidy and respectful, so that it inspires you to be able to shine the light in the right place. It inspires you to be able to take action. It inspires you how to fuel your fire, and then you can keep repeating. So, and out of all of that, how does that connect us to culture? How does that connect us to culture? So it starts with you. If you can build the culture within yourself to fuel your fire, to take action, to shine the light on the right thing, and focus on the right thing, and not be distracted, and then surround yourself with the right environment, then you have the ability to do that with someone else, your family, your partner, your kids, and then if you can build that within your family, to build your family's fire, to take action as a family, to shine the light on the right things as a family, and to surround your environment as a family, and to take your family to environments that inspire you and influence you in the right way, then if you can do that within your family, then you can do that within the community. You can do that within a community or a workplace or a sports group or a social group. Then you can do that within a city. You can do that within a state, country, and then we can change the world. It starts with you. It starts with you. So all of that being said, starting with our fire, fuel your fire, take action, shine the light on the right thing, surround yourself with the right environment. Sounds pretty easy, sounds too easy actually, and it is. And what I want to share is that 90% of our students that have walked through our performing arts store, and also our martial arts store and other programs that I've run, 90% of them haven't known their purpose, and haven't known their passion, and haven't known the fire, they've had an idea, but they haven't really come in saying, this is my fire. They're saying, I want to connect. Which means, so let's flip it now, which means some people just want to go to an environment that feels good. Some people want to go to an environment that feels welcoming and that has a great energy. So 90% of the students that have walked through our doors has started with wa. We've got Kaha Rawa. I started with wa and going, this looks like a really good, inspiring, positive, nurturing environment. I want to be a part of it. I want to be a part of it. So they come into this welcoming environment, and then in there, because there's already a culture built there, they start to develop a mindset that enables them to shine the light on the right thing, and enables them to take action based on the plan that we have set out. And then after they take action and start achieving things, all of a sudden their fire starts burning, and it burns and it burns and it burns until they can now be at Kaha, and then they can start to take action from there and have even a stronger mindset, and start to build a stronger environment, a stronger base, a stronger association. And there's the cycle. So sometimes we just don't know what to do. So the best thing to do really is go to a group that has the energy, the beliefs, the values, that already has the culture, that has the principles that you want. Go be a part of that, and then understand the mind. And then whether you understand it or not, you're going to learn and be influenced by that environment, and it's going to develop your mindset. So whether you want to or not, actually, it's going to happen if you take yourself into an environment that you align with, it's going to help you build that mindset. So it's going to take some going out there and seeing the world and trying and actually being a part of some bad groups. You might understand, like you might figure out that, hang on, this is not the group for me. I need to go find another group. That's just a part of life, trial and error. Yeah, it's just part of trial and error. It's finding the right environment for you and building the right environment. That's just a lot harder. Building the right environment starts with building you first. So if you have built yourself to understand your fire, your plan of action, your mindset, and your environment, if you've built that within you, then you can start to build an environment for other people to join. And my daughter's going to join me soon, and she's going to show some of the fire that she's been building within her and that we've been building within us. But connection to culture is that, like, culture, the best cultures, I won't say the best cultures, that's not fair. The strongest cultures, maybe. The strongest cultures are ones that have been passed down for generations and generations and centuries and centuries. And I know it's hard these days because culture has been taken away from the majority of the world. And we're currently on a resurgence of rebuilding our cultures, relearning our languages, reteaching our next generation, not reteaching, teaching our next generations. I'm so lucky to be on Woiwurrung, Wurundjeri country, Bunwurrung country. Like, this is one of the oldest cultures in the world. So the things that I've learned within these cultures have been awesome experiences and actually helped to fuel my fire too. But yeah, it's hard. It's even hard for Māori living in Australia. Is not easy. It's not easy to keep our culture alive, and we don't have the resources that we do have in New Zealand, but that doesn't stop us from creating environments, from building a mindset, from taking action, and fueling our fire. So I feel like I've repeated myself a lot of times, but I think it's necessary. I also want to share that there are multiple layers within Kaha Rawa. I've already spoken about a personal journey and a relationship journey of Kaha Rawa, and a family journey of Kaha Rawa, and a group or organization journey of Kaha Rawa, a cultural journey of Kaha Rawa. But this framework that I continue to develop is it works, and it simplifies things, but it works. It's hard, but it works. And I know for sure that I've grown understanding this concept. I know that my family has grown understanding this concept, and even our performing arts group and our martial arts group have grown understanding these concepts and implementing them into our lives. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my daughter, Iranui. I'm going to get her to come join me. I really wanted to do a haka, but in testing the sound through Zoom, it sounded really terrible, really bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my daughter to help me do a haka with me. You say hi again. And we're going to do a haka that was taught to us by our sister group of Tihani, a sister group Ngā Mātai Purua, or NMP. One of their leaders, Nana, she wrote this and taught this to us, and we perform this with other groups around Nam, around Melbourne, and it's called Ikara. And Ikara is the acknowledgement of Banju, the creator eagle of this country. And this is an acknowledgement to them and to Banjul. And so when you see Iranui, when you see her spreading her wings, that's her spreading her wings like Banjul. And then we're going to finish with Turuki, which is basically a call to action to everyone to either start to fuel your fire or find an environment that aligns with you, so that you can either find a culture that's fitting for you, whether it's in your bloodlines or whether it's a social group. I highly recommend doing some homework and finding what bloodlines you have, and going on that never-ending journey. It's never-ending. For example, just a quick segue, like I have a strong Māori family background, but I also have Scottish, I also have French, and I also have Cook Island, and these other cultures that are just a part of me and who I am. So yes, find your culture, find a group that aligns with you, or just start to fuel your fire, one or the other. And then it'll either go from fueling your fire to taking a plan of action, to building a mindset, to creating an environment, or create an environment, be a part of an environment, develop your mindset, take action, and fuel your fire. So that's Kaha Rawa. You ready to do a haka? So haka, quick little spiel about haka. Haka, a lot of people may have seen haka in the rugby with the All Blacks or other sporting groups. What is haka? Haka expresses our what?
Expresses team.
Haka expresses, we teach our kids, haka expresses our really big feelings. So while it may be a war dance, yes, while it may be to challenge an opponent, maybe yes, it is a challenge to another opponent, but also we can express really sad feelings. So we do haka at funerals to express those sad feelings. We can express really angry feelings to things we disagree to, but we can also express really happy feelings in the form of haka. So we're going to do that one. We're going to express really happy feelings and feelings of gratitude for allowing us to share our culture, and for us to be a part of this really awesome summit. We're going to do that sort of haka. Okay, cool. But thank you very much for allowing me to share with you today some of the things that I've been working on with our community. Hopefully you can apply some of these things, one of these things, to help you in your journey of finding connection, finding purpose, and finding passion. But yeah, so from me, Kodie, and from my beautiful daughter, Iranui, kia ora, and thank you. And we're going to do a haka. You ready? Okay. Pukana?
Yeah.
Okay, you got it. Kia ora. Papakiti taha. Ikara. Ikara. O pute wahine. O pute tane. O kapo. Haere maira hei yafi mahi. Ikara. Ikara. O pute wahine. O pute tane. O kapo. Haere maira hei yafi mahi. Turuki. Paneke. Turuki. Paneke. Pano. Haramaite toki. Haumie, huie, taikie, hi, pukana. Iraro. Thank you, everybody. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer any, but come, you did a great job. But yes, thank you for allowing us to share our culture with you and some of the things we've been working on. I'm happy to address any questions if there are any. Otherwise, Amrita's got my contact details if you want to contact me. Thank you for the comments. I don't want to pronounce it wrong. I hate pronouncing people's names wrong.
Vagina.
Thank you for your comment. Yeah. Maybe this is the time to hand it back to you, Amrita.
Awesome. Kodie, that was just insane. That was awesome. I think your daughter stole the show though.
Yeah. She's my little performer.
Yeah, mate, you should bring her to all your shows, I reckon.
We do lots of performance.
Yeah, we do. We do lots of performance.
And look, the generational knowledge is just so evident in what your daughter can do with the haka, and the fact that she's happy to join you. It was absolutely really beautiful to see. And I just want to thank you for including her in your presentation. It was a real gift, I think.
Thank you very much. I actually, it was a last minute change. I'd planned so many things, and we actually had a performance yesterday at the Botanical Gardens in Embark, and was inspired by our kids' performance, and definitely made the right decision of getting my daughter Ida to join me and to help with the presentation today. But thank you for the opportunity, Amrita. I really appreciate it, and the things that you're doing for the community are amazing, and your work is second to none. So thank you very much, Amrita.